Yo, what's going on, everyone? It's your boy, Dontae Catlett. You are now tuning in to the Nico Blitz podcast.
Oh my God, is that Nico Blitz?
All right, man, Nico Blitz podcast. We somewhere in the 20s. Shouts out my guy, Dontae Catlett in the building, man.
Yo, what's going on, Nico? How you doing?
I'm doing well, bro. Doing well. Round two, we had you on the podcast before, but, now it's the Nico Blitz podcast.
Oh my God, is that Nico Blitz?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouts out to Dontae, man. We've known each other since 2000.
Graduated 8th grade in 2008? 7,
yeah.
So 2006.
Yeah, we've known each other for a minute now, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I like to say this, like, I actually just told my girl because she reminded me that 10 years ago is when we all graduated from college, roughly like 10, 11 years ago. And it's so cool to basically identify everybody who is like a super creative. People like literally just doing their own lanes and like branding them own selves as like their own business. And you're literally always the first person who's come to mind, not only in recent years, but like ever since back then, bro. Like you've always just been doing your own thing, whether it be like the beatboxing, the dancing, the videography. Like you've literally been doing everything your entire life, bro.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I think it's the Aquarius in me.
Is that an Aquarius thing to do?
I believe so. That's what I've seen from a lot of people that I've met. I'm not too deep into zodiac signs. Like I became a believer maybe like 2 years ago, and I was just like, you know what? I've met too many people who are these signs that I just don't get along with, or like they have certain things that I just can't stand. But I've also been in rooms with like 5 Aquariuses and not known it. And then when I found out, I was like, oh, we all are very creative. That's insane.
Okay. Well,
could be.
Man, shouts out all the Aquarius. You know what's funny is that we were just having a conversation on me and my girl's podcast, Mexipino podcast, and I always hated it when like you would meet somebody and they would judge you immediately right off their sign. So like I'm a Pisces, right? And I guess Pisces are just like super nice, always trying to like, like be welcoming for everybody, and that just doesn't float with everybody.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't. But I mean, some people who are like a female Pisces versus a male, I heard that's a different thing too.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of different things, and then it's like the day you were born, the time, wooty woo. But like
sun and moon and
dude,
rising and all this
shit. Like the sun is in freaking Gatorade or whatever the hell, bro. Like I'm just like, man, I don't know about all that shit. But so, what's something about an Aquarius you can tell us outside of like the creativity that you're like fully aware of?
What I'm fully aware of Aquariuses is that they like to keep to themselves, and they do tend to bottle up a lot of that energy inside. People don't really know what's going on. It's like if there's a problem, we're amazing problem solvers for the most part. That I can see a lot of people like whenever there's something that's going on, it's like, hey, why don't we try this? When everyone's like, oh my God, like they're panicking. I'm like, yo, just find the solution.
Yeah.
Or let's see here. What was I saying before that?
Basically, like you're able to problem solve and solve solutions and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So Aquarius is Aquarii. I don't know
Aquarians.
the Aquarians, problem solvers, and are creative people. Okay, we're just gonna set that in stone. I'm gonna assume that is truth.
Hopefully, let us know in the comment section.
But bro, like as of recently, like your content has just been going insane. I think if anybody's ever looked at your page, right? It obviously seems like you've been doing this for years, but as of recently, you've just found a niche that has just been popping off. Can you explain to everybody who probably has not stumbled upon your Instagram yet?
Absolutely. My name is Dontae Catlett. I am a video creator, an entrepreneur, and a digital media strategist. And over the last 10 years, I've been working behind the scenes. That's why a lot of people, they've either met me and that's how they know who I am, or word of mouth, or recommended me in some way, right? Or found my beatboxing videos. But like you said, I didn't know my niche at first. At first, it was beatboxing videos thrown in with video editing and video production, photography, fashion, lifestyle, just trying to find my way. And thankfully, through the pandemic, like it's crazy. There was bad things, but also good things that came out of that. TikTok was one of them. It didn't happen for me. It happened for my girlfriend, which allowed us to move forward with our lives, get out of the Bay Area, and finally like see what life was really about in Los Angeles for us. Because for the longest time, we were just investing time going back and forth from the Bay at least once a month just to try and network with people, planting seeds. And for me, I started uploading, I want to say, towards the end of the year. So like after Thanksgiving, that's when I was just consistent every single day, posting on Instagram, TikTok, trying to do weekly uploads on YouTube. But my main thing was, you know what? Let's just figure out how I can help people. And what a time to be alive, right? Because TikTok disrupted social media like Netflix disrupted the production industry.
Facts.
In a sense that people don't care about you being like instant gratification and showing off, flexing all these nice things. Like some people still do that, but that was what Instagram was built on, unfortunately. TikTok was like, no, we want the raw you. We want uncut, front-facing camera. That's totally fine. And that really redefined social media. It sucks because long-form content like podcasts on YouTube don't really do as well, especially that you can skip and everything. But I found my lane on Instagram. A lot of people shared the content. They found it very useful. And that was the main thing for me, was like, how can I add value into everyone's lives? I want to make impact. Growing up as a filmmaker, I wished that I could have a movie. And I realized that, you know, I'm still very young and that goal is highly obtainable. But through doing what I'm doing for so long, I reached over 1 billion people. So it's like, I'm no longer chasing views. You know, it's no longer about people making me wanting to people like see my work. It's more about making the impact. Purpose.
Yeah. I see that because a lot of the content that you drive to people is just so like help driven. It's like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And like, I'll literally refer your videos to people who think like they cannot create content. And I show them like, hey, like my homie literally does everything on his phone. He will teach you the simplest tricks on how to make a simple Instagram story look amazing, which I mean, I've learned from, my girl learns from like so much, man. And, like I think you very much simplified everything that you can do with just an iPhone.
Yeah, 100%. That's my whole thing. I can teach anybody on whatever camera how to utilize it, right? All cameras pretty much do the same thing. Some are a little bit more expensive. Some have more bells and whistles you can attach to them. But when it comes down to like the principle, like what is like the foundation that you use, think 40 years ago, man, what kind of cameras were they producing these movies on? And they were shooting on film. It wasn't digital.
Yeah.
So the simple fact that we can record in 4K on our phones without getting kicked out of the mall or asked to put your phone away because it's a professional piece of equipment, it's amazing. And that's why I love like 90% of my content is shot on my phone. And that's the biggest thing. So people who have, whether you're an Android user or iPhone, I will say that iPhone is definitely a lot better. It's a lot more efficient. The quality is a lot better than Android, unfortunately. Hopefully they can catch up. There's other phones that China makes as well that have amazing quality video. So it's like if you can pick one up secondhand and you're not using it as a real phone, I would recommend people to do that instead of thinking like, oh, I got to invest money into DSLR cameras and whatnot. But there's drawbacks. There's pros and cons for it.
Yeah, there definitely is. I mean, I wouldn't be using 2 iPhones to record an entire podcast, you know?
Especially by yourself, because then you don't know, like, what if one dies? What if something goes out of focus?
Yeah, and I guess it just comes down to the principle of, like, you're able to, if you can maximize whatever you have in front of you, like, there's literally no excuses. So whether you are shooting on an iPhone or 2 DSLR cameras or whatever your piece of equipment is, like, I know you and I both know, especially, you know, growing up in the Bay Area, it's like, whatever tools you have, learn how to use it, and you can make something amazing out of it.
That's a fact. That is something that we're very resource rich in the Bay Area. In the Bay Area, it's a lot more accessible. It's kind of like Los Angeles, right? A lot of kids, even though you grew up somewhere that might be a little bit more upscale, you're with kids who grew up in neighborhoods that didn't have that privilege to grow up like that.
Yeah.
So it's like you're constantly in the streets. You're constantly having to adapt to your surroundings and just make whatever make the best that you can with what you have.
Yeah, facts. Like I remember, when we were like dancing back in the day, it's like the video quality that we had, bro, was just so trash compared to what we had right now. But like it was the consistency of videos that we put out that allowed people to recognize our names, especially at the time. I mean, even going back to your cousin Strobe, like the reason why like his name just popped off so much was just because like it was consistent output of content.
Shout out to the king of tutting.
Yeah,
Strobe.
facts, man.
A lot of people don't give that man his flowers, but he's definitely an innovator, and I would say arguably the best tutter in the world.
I would say he's also the most innovative tutter in the world. I mean, look, bro. I've had conversations with Strobe where he was legitimately like, I'm teaching people on like Zoom, like how to tut and whatnot, like literally secrets on like how to bend my arm and all that shit. And, you know, even for him, like I think, you know, it makes sense that both of you are cousins because it's like the way you guys see content is very similar. And once I found out over the past year that it's just consistent, dope content to put out, like you kind of become unstoppable at that point.
The motto now is just to keep documenting. No matter if you're posting the content, it's important to document what you're doing. I wish we could go back to us going from McDonald's to Stonestown, walking over to SF State, you know, just messing around, finger tutting on the bus and just coming up with crazy concepts. Like I remember me, you, Miggs, we should just sit at the table finger tutting, doing some crazy stuff with French fries and chicken nuggets.
Oh, man. I think there was a time where we ordered like 50 nuggets each and we tried to down them, man. Like the stupid shit that we would do as a kid. Like I see people like really popping off on YouTube, like doing it.
It's interesting you bring that up. I just thought about that. I was looking at some YouTubers the other day and they were starting out and I'm just like, do people really do these pranks and challenges outside of YouTube? No one just goes, hey, let's have fun and like go to McDonald's and order as many nuggets as we can. Nowadays it's let's do this because X, Y, and Z made a video and it blew up.
I feel you.
It's not authentic or genuine to you.
Yeah, it's a little bit of clout chasing. I feel like that's what it is. Like, I think if you see people like do something very interesting on the street, so whether you're like interviewing like people on the street, like Mario, yo, right? Or like, you know, whether you want to eat like 50 nuggets, like, you know, it might be clout chasing. It might also be half like inspiration, but you can never really tell I guess at some point you could tell if the content's truly genuine or not.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell right off the rip.
100%. Especially if that person already has some type of niche they're in. Ah, man, I just thought in my head that my friend John, he had this thing on his story. He was like, bro, I hate when people say 100% because you can never be 100% with something. I just did it right there. Every time I hear it. He reviews a lot of people's like shows and he'll just like stop and pause something. He'll be like, this right here really gets on my nerves, guys. He's like, he'll ask his audience, what's something that annoys you? Something that annoys me is when people say 100%. You could never be 100% with something. Like, let's just say, hey, Nico, are you going to be there at my birthday party? Oh, 100%, bro. Like, what if you're not? Shout out to Static John.
Oh, man. And then as soon as, that is hella funny. And then, like, literally 10 minutes. Hey, you still coming, bro? Man, look, like, traffic's crazy, you know, man.
What had happened was,
I know, just all the bullshit just starts coming out. Like, you know what, man? Like, I'll see you next week anyway. Like, dude, that's why, like, I've learned, especially living in LA, it's like hard to commit to something. Well, especially an event. So, for instance, like right after this, our friend Mariella, who has done all the amazing paintings that you see in this room, like, she has an event. I did not tell her that I'm going to her shit because for some godforsaken circumstance that I cannot, I don't want to look like the asshole. That, Nico said he was coming and da-da-da.
Nah, you definitely would have come off like that.
Yeah, man. But bro, like, so when did you find out that, you know, like you got rid of the dancing? Not permanently, but, you know, just like content-wise, you got rid of like the beatboxing content-wise. Like, when and why did you want to start focusing on just like supplying people with just the knowledge of like learning how to create content?
I believe as a creative, it's important to identify what it is that you're doing. And on your journey, it's important that you take these skills and experiences that you come up with. And that's how you become a better storyteller, right? Like where you started, where I started, where Chrissy started, where Jackie started, we all have a story to tell. And it's crucial that we don't leave any of those parts out because now in this bigger like perspective of the internet really connects everybody. If it's connecting you, then that means that somebody down the street or somebody across the world can relate to your story. And if you're leaving out that key piece, then it's not authentic to you. So for me, going from beatboxing to dancing, I had to realize I'm not the best at this. I'm not the LeBron James or the Michael Jordan of dancing or beatboxing. So let me just stay in my lane. It's going to be a hobby. It's not something I see myself making a career out of. You have to ask yourself that because us as creatives, we always think like, nah, this is what I want to do because it's bringing me happiness. And that's the privilege we have with the internet. But the reality is most people can't make money off of the things they love to do.
Yeah.
You really have to diversify yourself. and take these skill sets. So now it's almost like a gimmick, right? Like I could come on here and beatbox and people would be like, oh my God, you can beatbox, that's so dope. Or I can get down and start dancing. And that creates organic, realistic conversations with people. Like, oh, I didn't know you could dance. Or like, you know, you're vibing at an event or something. Your question was, when did I notice?
Yeah. When did you notice that you wanted to do the shift from like beatboxing, dancing, and just go full force with, I want to help people create content?
I think that was always in me. The problem was I could never stay consistent enough because I have a love-hate relationship with social media, right?
Don't we all, man? Don't we all?
Doing loaded up entertainment, being deleted off social media so many times, like it really just made me not believe in social media. And a lot of people are blind to see that, yo, this could really be gone tomorrow. People think, oh no, TikTok's not going. It almost did go somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
YouTube's changing. Instagram's changing. People who have millions of followers on TikTok are struggling to navigate these other platforms.
Yeah.
And if you don't know how to organically navigate these platforms, you're going to be a dead brand.
Yeah.
And I see it all the time because people like often compare me or Chrissy and they're just like, oh, well, you know, I got more followers than you. I'm not really tripping. But at the same time, why do you guys have all these like opportunities coming your way? For one, I'm super blessed. And honestly, have been working extremely hard to get to this point, to work with some of these brands and have these opportunities even come our way, to be 10 years patiently doing this. It's not like we just woke up and said, oh, you know, X, Y, and Z is hitting us up to do something. It's just more of, you should never feel entitled that you have this many followers. What other value are you bringing to the table? Because if I sat down with you and you're not humble, you can't provide some type of high quality, you know, production value to me. And all you can give me is a young audience demographic and you hitting the renegade or something. That's not, you know,
that's nothing, bro.
You're not bringing value into the world.
Yeah, exactly. And then, you know, relatively speaking, I feel like if you are like a brand or, you know, something that does work with, you know, somebody who just does something as simple as that, like it kind of shows like the value that you put on your brand as well. Because for me, I would rather have somebody who can do like amazing quality content as opposed to somebody that's just going to get me like views for like the day. And then you got to find the next person who's just going to get you views for the day.
Yeah, that's true. You're saying for your podcasting, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a fine line between that because you know the secret formula to be like, all right, I can be getting hundreds of thousands of views if I had these A-list people on here, but you're focusing more on telling unique stories and letting it come organically.
Yeah, bro. I mean, you know, and I've said this to just people in real life, right? Like I've figured out what TikTok and what Instagram want out of like podcast content. What is that exactly? Super like random ass questions. You know, like, is Jollibee overrated? Is lumpia an egg roll? That type of shit. That's what true. Instagram and, like, you know, TikTok likes because why? Those platforms are very engaging and you're allowing people to engage with the content that you put out. But at the end of the day, if that's all a podcast was just very clickbaity-ass questions, you're not learning anything from it, you know? So the way I see it is that, like, when you have those questions that, you know, prompt people to respond, that is kind of the catalyst for the thing that I really want you to listen to. And what is that? Literally the entire podcast and actually pick up an actual gem. That's right. That will stick with you for the rest of your life.
That's right. And you don't notice that right off rip. You have to be in the trenches to figure this out because now you got your hook, right?
Yeah.
Like, is a lumpia really an egg roll? And now it's really catered towards Asian people, Filipino people. Yeah. That's the hook. And now, because you ask a question, it's engaging, but they'll engage after they see the reaction of everybody. If it's their first time seeing it, they'll probably drop the comment. But if they're used to seeing your content, they're like, let's see how this unfolds.
You know what? Now that you say hook, because I know you meant hook like something that hooks somebody in, but then I literally now just thought of it kind of like as a song. So, you know, like when it comes to like Instagram Reels or like TikTok videos, like usually the sound that is put attached with these videos is the hook of the song. So I guess the way I'm currently seeing it right now is that like those videos that prompt questions is like the hook of the song. And I really want you to listen to the verses, like where the actual meat of the conversation is.
Absolutely. Social media is complex. It can hoe you. You know, in the words of my friend Carlos, that's his terminology in Ron.
Yeah.
But it can really screw you over because you can invest so much time and then boom, the algorithm decides to shift the day you have the greatest piece of content ever.
Yeah.
But the thing you got to realize is if you posted it one time and it did better than all your other posts, you could repost it again. If you go to my content, I don't know if you noticed this, but like I'll repost so much content because it's about repurposing. And that's why it's important to document and archive your content because it can be relevant in any way. If I'm talking about my favorite camera gear, but I use that clip in a vlog, I'm repurposing content. I don't have to go back and shoot. I'm saving time. But maybe the hook was wrong, right? Maybe the duration of the video. Maybe you didn't have a trending audio behind it. Maybe the caption was off. Maybe you didn't do enough promo for it for people to really engage with it. And that's like a recipe to make a post take off.
That's crazy. I mean, that's actually I've never thought of it in that way because that's actually a lot of steps that you have to think of when it comes to a single post. Because I think, me and my friend DJ Kizza, who's also popping off on like Instagram, TikTok because of like the DJ videos. Like, I think the crazy part is that like you kind of see content as cooking, right? So when you FaceTime me earlier, you were like chopping up onions or whatever. And how long did it actually take for you to create the food that you were going to make?
Maybe like 15 minutes.
Okay, maybe like 15 minutes. And how fast did you eat the food?
In like 4 minutes less.
So you see what I'm saying? That's kind of like the same way like a content creator's like process is. Like you can go hours and hours and hours just to create one piece of content, like a minute piece of content, and then it's kind of up and down. You feel me?
He was talking about like how long it took him to make those mixes. I saw that video.
Yeah. And then it's like once you put it out to the world, it's that 50-50 chance, maybe even slimmer, that people are actually going to rock with it or not.
Well, dude, if you do those sets and you start to notice, like I started doing this like before and after videos. So I would show literally 4 clips of me with my iPhone showing what I'm doing, right? So now it like sparks interest in people like, okay, what's the results? They've seen videos like this on the internet, so they already kind of know what to expect. And then is it going to deliver to them? And I always split test. That's what you do in business. Not a lot of people tell you that, but feel free to split test. I've done videos where I just show the before process and then people are like, yo, where the hell is the ending result? Like I want to see it. And now they're at the edge of their seats and I'm like, okay, this is interesting. There's actually some type of hook or some type of like hype that people really want to see that video. There's anticipation built behind it. Then I'll do the split ones where it's like a before and after on top. But you're taking the same clips and you're just showing people the process. So what you could do is all the mixes that have done really well, take them apart and just do like a compilation of the best moments or something. So you don't have to go back and re-record stuff.
I like that. Man, I mean, I'm learning some shit over here right
Absolutely,
now, too.
always.
It's all about learning, man. But, I think what's crazy is that, like, I'll kind of, like, map it out for you. The reason why TikTok worked so well for me when I first started doing my DJ stuff on there was because I posted videos about MySpace songs. And for anybody who's ever listened to MySpace songs, I think when you hear it nowadays, it's kind of like an inside joke because it's kind of like an era where if you had to be there in order to know that music, right?
That's right.
So now that I've been able to revitalize those songs, like, man, like people are calling me the MySpace DJ, which I'm not really tripping of.
Hey.
Like, I'll take it. I'm not tripping. But then once I started doing other things, it was hard to get out of that niche because that's all people were looking for. So then I realized, I'm like, cool, so where can I find that balance between I'm trying to do new stuff but also supply to the, I guess, people who wanted the MySpace stuff. So now I'm putting out content where it involves the MySpace stuff, but it's also a hybrid of everything else that I want to do. So I'm not just boxed in one particular niche, like a sub niche of the niche. You know what I mean?
It's smart because you definitely can get yourself stuck in there. And then once, let's just say you get to 100,000 followers and now people only know you for MySpace songs and you decide to do an R&B playlist of like new songs, people aren't going to engage with it as much. But I need people to understand something that are on social media. It's really not about the numbers, right? It is, but then it isn't. And here's why. If you're on social media uploading content, people will go like, oh man, this post got 100 likes, but last week I was getting 2,000 likes. If you're uploading video content, I don't even care about the likes anymore. I care more about the viewership behind it. Because think about this. If you're watching a TV advertisement, it comes on TV, how does that company know that you actually paid attention to the ad. They're
Yeah.
still paying for that viewer. And the other thing you have to think about is if we're sitting in a room and I see a banger video, I'm like, Nico, check this out, bro. Chrissy, check this out, babe. That's 3 people. You don't realize how many eyeballs are actually watching that. And then if it's the same person watching it, social media doesn't count that view again. So how many times do you go into like a saved collection folder and you're like, Jackie, check this out. Yo, check this out, right?
Yeah, I hear you. Because like, yeah, I guess one view or one like or whatever doesn't necessarily equate to how many people actually look. But I guess like, you know, I guess when it comes to the content that you do, like what is it exactly that people were looking for? Because, you know, I mean, people realize that you've been working with like literally Instagram and all that stuff, but it's like, what do people look for when it comes to the content that you put out? Like a big company per se.
Social media changes because of trends, and psychologically people are looking for those trends to view. So I'm always testing new things. I can't stay just doing the iPhone videos. I can't stay just doing the Instagram story videos. At some point, I had to experiment to see if it was even going to work. Usually the creative process is just writing down ideas, hoping I can execute on it. Maybe I'll just see something in the morning that day on my phone and be like, yo, I got to shoot this real quick. I'll ask Chrissy for help.
Yeah.
And then we'll just shoot the video, edit it in like 30 minutes, and then I'll put it out. It'll do well or it won't. For me, I'm like, okay, what's my following at right now? If I can get at least 10,000 views off of this video in 24 hours, I'm satisfied with that. If it's less, it's fine because it'll snowball later on, and it always usually does.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to the impact thing, right? If I had 10,000 people sitting in a room with me, that would be crazy to think about. So don't ever think that your content isn't where it should be.
Yeah. Facts. You know, when I'm recording like TikToks and in the midst of just like my weekday, right? Like I kind of just dedicate one day to record everything so I don't have to deal with it for the rest of the week. But as of recently, I've been traveling a lot. So, you know, I've been to like literally Austin, the Bay, Vegas, Seattle, Portland, all within this past month. So I haven't necessarily had time to do that. But, you know, it kind of stresses me out. I'm just like, dude, like I haven't been able to post today, And then there's just like a million questions that run through my head. Like, dude, like my following is not skyrocketing like it was like last month because I haven't been doing all this. And like, it really starts to like mess with you at some point, you know? And I've come to realize over the past month that like, it's not about that. I think when you're so gung-ho over getting so many followers and so many eyes on you, like your mission statement starts to change. Like as a DJ, I just want to make people like remember songs and save it on their playlist, and I'm cool with that. If you share it, that's even better. But, you know, I think at some point like all of this starts to mess with your mental health because you get so honed in on the numbers. You get so honed in on the amount of views you get and how you have to satisfy like so many different parts of your audience and also yourself at the same time.
Have you got any brand deals off of social media?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that your main goal to get brand deals?
No, honestly, like the brand deals kind of just came through just consistent hard work. So like, you know, a couple of DJ companies reached out to me, whether it be because of like Twitch or TikTok, but that's because they saw like consistent output. And you know what's actually funny about that, Dontae, is that like once a dollar sign was like thrown at me, and then it became about work. Like, fuck, I like have to get this work done. And it kind of became not fun. I obviously got the check, but it wasn't as fun to do, you know?
Yep. That's true. It's just you. That's why.
Yeah.
You're the editor. You're the camera operator. You're the host. You're the DJ. You're Nico.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So going back to what you're saying, it's overwhelming. When you travel, you're out of your comfort zone. You got to get back into your routine. You're backed up on content. And then you're like, damn, why is my viewership down? And again, like algorithms changed 3 months ago. Instagram Reels was booming, went down when they were trying to do that chronological feed thing. And now it's slowly going back up. But that's why it's important to be omnipresent on different platforms.
Yeah.
Because your viewership might go up on TikTok or on Instagram. But what we were saying was like, why is it difficult for us as creators? And like, how do we like stay on track when we're trying to do this content, right?
Yeah, because it's overwhelming, bro. Like, I don't think people realize like how much mental exhaustion we go through just to get this stuff out every single day, especially you with the amount of editing that you're doing, you know?
What I would say for creators that are going through that, it's going to keep happening, but you have to remember that it's a marathon. This is going to sound corny. It's not a race, but it really is a marathon. And you're going to be doing this for a very long time. Look at Jay-Z, for example. How long has he been doing music for?
Yeah, forever, basically.
Yeah, right. So how many ups and downs do you think he had? And then once technology started adapting rapidly, how did he, navigate that field? When he started Tidal, I'm sure it wasn't just him, he has partners, but like, how did he navigate that and keep himself sane? We don't really see what's going on in social media. Everyone gets like a peep into your window of like, okay, he's doing really good. Views are going up. That's what's up. I'm happy for him. But little do you know, they're in a room 75% of the time, sad and like, not sad, but just burnt out.
Yeah.
It happens.
How do you deal with burnout?
I would say dealing with burnout, things that I would do that helps is going outside for a hike, talking to Chrissy, because she will get me out of my feelings or set me straight when I am going through stuff. It's not so much comparing myself to other people. It's just, what am I not doing enough? Because it's like being a basketball player. You train and you practice, you show up for the game, you're ready, but then the team doesn't get it together. And then you do it all over again. You guys are still on a losing streak and you can't really figure it out. Like, what's the momentum? Like, where's my heart in this game at? So for me, I have to just reconnect and get that perspective that I am impacting people. Back to what I was saying, like, it doesn't matter if you only have 200 views. Imagine 200 people standing in front of you.
Yeah.
You can't let this social media thing play with your head, and you have to remember what your goals are. Is your goal to get famous? Because I don't think a lot of people like being famous.
Bro.
I really don't think that people like being famous, and that should never be the end goal of fame.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't think people really understand how, and in no way am I saying like you're famous or I'm famous or anybody, right?
We all have our own celebrity.
Yeah, we all have like our own celebrity, but I don't think people realize like how much shit comes with the fame. Like before, I thought I was already busy. Like my phone was already blowing up and, messages left and right. But it's like when you really get to that point, not even like, I'm not even like a superstar or anything, but it's just like, it's to the point where my phone literally has to be like away from me for me to kind of just like relax. Like It's very, I don't think people realize like when you have so many people who know you and so many people who want your attention, like, you literally don't have time for yourself because you're constantly giving a piece of yourself to everybody at the same time.
How often are you saying yes to people, though?
See, that's the thing. I've had to learn how to say no, like, so much. Like, bro, like, I think coming from a background where I was taking $25 DJ gigs, like, I was saying yes all the time because I'm like, cool, like, now I can get this gig and this gig. Now I can, like, pay my rent, do this, do that. But now it's getting to a point where it's just like, you know what, this kind of isn't worth it for me anymore. Like, I'd much rather rest.
Yeah.
I'd much rather just do my own thing.
Peace of mind is the goal now.
Yeah, bro. Peace of mind is the freaking goal.
It is.
I think once you go through a grind, like a process, you having a 10-year process, I'm probably on like my 6th year right now. Like, once you go through like a real grit and grind, you come to realize like, this being famous doesn't fucking matter.
No.
Even at some point, like, granted, hopefully you can like pay your bills and all that shit, but like money doesn't matter. Peace of mind and quality of life matters the most.
These younger people that are coming up, it's a lot easier for them to get famous. When we grew up, we're like, oh, Tumblr, like, hell yeah, I got retweets and I got likes and I got a top 8 and like X amount of followers on it. I'm talking to people on AIM. This is dope. And we were able to keep up with that. And now we realize that social media can alter your psyche. But for these people who upload a dancing video on TikTok, they wake up with 100,000 followers and now their ego is boosted. Now they're in the comments section and they don't know how to deal with this because there's like their first couple of years on social media as a professional.
Yeah.
So they're navigating that. Whereas us, we grew up and we were like, we kick rocks like it's nothing to us. Like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to get to us as much. We're not as sensitive And I think that's that millennial and Gen Z thing.
Yeah, and I think because it's been much more of a slower grind, we know of the things to look out for. Like, we know not to blow our heads up as big as possible if we get like a video that just like spikes. And we know that consistency is key. And we know to like not take comments on TikTok or wherever the hell like seriously, because at the end of the day, it all doesn't matter.
That's true, because there are people that are our age or older. Well, it will get to them, right? They're
Yeah.
like, wow, 1 million views. And it's tough because we probably both have seen hundreds of thousands of views, millions of views.
Yeah.
And at this point, we're kind of numb to it because we're like, okay, that comes with the internet. That's awesome. If it happens, thank you guys so much for showing love. We really appreciate it. And that gives us that extra boost. But if it's happening for the first time, I could only imagine what that would do to someone's head.
Oh, bro, it's like, I mean, you know, I feel like you and I have both have had this experience, but like when something just pops off for the first time, there's that immediate rush, like, we got to do more of this shit. It's kind of like a drug, you know?
Absolutely. Social media, damn you.
Yeah, dude, it's like, it's such a gift and a curse, bro. Such a gift and a curse. But I mean, I guess at that point, just kind of be weary about the curses that come with it. Like, what are some things that you could warn people to look out for when it comes to this whole social media aspect?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the helpline.
1-800-DONTAE.
So the first thing that I would say, if you're on social media, things that you should look out for on social media is not everyone has your best interests at heart. Whether that be brands, people on the internet, clout chasers, people looking to use you as like an engagement booster. Look out for that stuff because it can happen. Next thing is, don't put all of your eggs in one basket, because if you get a video deleted because you weren't using, the music you were using was copyrighted, that could make your account blacklisted. You can get shadow banned. Another thing that I would say is like reason why you shouldn't put all of your eggs in one basket is because let's just say the engagement falls off in there. What if you were just a Snapchat star and then all of a sudden Snapchat changed their entire user interface and nobody's on Snapchat anymore? So
you lose your whole fan base afterwards, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, I hear that. And you know what's funny is that prior to this, I was watching a video, and this video taught me that like literally anything behind the scenes, for the most part, is like smoke and mirrors, right? So let me explain this video. And out of all things that popped up on my YouTube algorithm, it was the story of Drake and Josh and how they were not actually friends.
Oh my goodness. I think I know which video you're talking about.
Bro,
yeah,
it was like some random ass video I saw, and to kind of just summarize the video, right? It's like they were just put together on the Amanda Show, and then one of the Nickelodeon producers he needed to just make like a buddy show, kind of like the second coming of Kenan and Kel, basically, the 2000s version.
Yeah.
And so he saw Drake and Josh and said, this is a perfect opportunity. But, I guess on set they were fine, but they weren't actually friends in real life. And as of recently, Josh Peck has said, like, yeah, like, we weren't actually friends. Like, it was kind of just like a Nickelodeon thing. Like, we kind of just had to do this and do that. And, that being said, the moral of the story that I got from it was like, there were hundreds of thousands of people who watched Drake and Josh, probably even millions.
For sure.
Yeah, millions. And they probably looked at them like, oh, they're buddy, they're best friends. But behind a television, behind your iPhone, behind TikTok and Instagram, you really don't know what's going on behind the scenes, man.
That's very true. That is very true. Oh, another thing, touching on like the social media thing that you should look out for is just create content that's authentic to you. Don't do what other people are doing. Get experimental. That's okay. Yeah. But don't do things that other people are doing just so you can try and get famous, because people can tell. People are smart nowadays.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've seen people do like very Steve-O ass shit, man. And I'm like, bro, like, that's not you. Like, you don't have to go about doing it that way.
Boom gang, whole lot of gang shit.
I mean, it's easy to tell when somebody's just like clout chasing and you literally have like your 10 seconds of fame and then it's gone right away. It
can be taken away.
Yeah.
In the blink of an eye.
So quickly.
And there's a lot of manipulation behind the scenes in the music industry, for content creators. It doesn't matter. Like, if you got a bag and you're willing to spend it, you can manipulate and make people think that you're more famous than ever. I have somebody who DMs me all the time, every day, with like 20 different pages. here's the amount of followers it has. Here's the celebrity. Like, let's just say it's Chief Keef is on this list, right?
Mhm.
Here's the demographic of followers who get, the age, where they're from, and how much it's going to cost. $35,000, and you'll get 100,000 followers. Let's just say. I'm just blowing up steam. Like, I could read it on my phone, but that's just an example.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting how, like, that's everybody's elevator pitch now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, even when I get pitched for, like, artists and whatnot, it's like, oh, you know, it's like 1 million followers, da-da-da, wooty-woot. But I'll honestly have to sit down and think to myself, like, even though this person has 1 million followers, are they a fit for my brand?
That's true.
Is what they're doing actually achieving my mission statement?
So what are your goals as being a DJ, or like outside of being a DJ? Because
Yeah.
I can, Nico might want to be like a Filipino basketball star. I don't know.
I mean, you never know. 5'7", that's probably the average height for all the Filipino basketball players. So, you know what I'm saying?
That's
like,
right.
I have aspirations, too, to play in the PBA alongside Manny Pacquiao's son or some shit, you know? I think as far as DJing, I just love seeing people dance and move because, bro, like, I think it all started when we were, like, turf dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what made that music so iconic, no matter how bootlegged it sound or how trash it was, like, it made us move. So my goal as a DJ was, like, how can I just make somebody move?
Okay.
Like, I can make people, like, as long as I'm in front of, like, the right crowd and I can identify what type of crowd it is, it's like, I can make people move for hip-hop, R&B, country, EDM.
That's right.
And you know what I mean? Like, I could literally do any of that with all of those genres.
Music is timeless. It doesn't matter what you like. As long as you start bouncing to it and it sounds good, the bass will let you know.
Bro, exactly. And you know what's funny is that, like, Twitch is a very, it's a tip-based system.
Yep.
So the way you make your money on Twitch, like, people will literally just, like, tip you off of this shit. And you know what's funny is that I'll see people on the platform push more so for the money as opposed to just, like, being a dope DJ.
That's true.
And then you see the people who are just simply dope DJs get the most money out of it.
That's right.
So
No one likes a beggar.
Dude.
Like a panhandler.
Facts, bro.
Sometimes you have to educate people because they don't know, like, how to tip. So it's like a fine line that you have to navigate that. Because I watch gamers, I'll just watch their highlight clips, but I'm like, yo, how could you be so raw, read the comments at the same time, and kill like 8 people in the game at the same time?
Bro, it's a skill. It's a legit skill.
Absolutely.
I don't know how they do it. And then I guess, back to your question, like with the podcasting, it's just education has always just been so important to me, bro. I mean, me and Dontae, for the most part, just went to the same church. And, granted, I don't consider myself like religious or anything anymore, but it's just like the life lessons that you take from there where you can teach people how to live, I wouldn't even say a better life. If you can teach people how to live a life with the least amount of mistakes.
It's perspective.
Yeah.
That's what it is in simple terms, because we were young people teaching young people about life when we knew nothing about life. We still lived in the bubble of wake up in your parents' house, go to school, do your homework, go to basketball practice, and come back home to the same bubble. On repeat.
Yeah.
The moment we moved out to LA, the moment we traveled to places, we understood what the world really was, and we could be like, damn, now this perspective, life perspective, doing taxes, bills, not paying bills, what happens?
Yeah.
Slap you in the face.
Bro, I think it's so crazy how, like, we grew up with everything that we did, and it's only now that, like, students, that, like, younger people are getting educated on, like, taxes and, like, ways that you can fulfill your creativity while also making it a career. Because I feel like back then, like, we were only left with go to school, go to college, and that's what you're just going to be doing for the rest of your life. Whatever career you chose out of college, you're stuck with it.
That's sad, man.
It is.
It really is, because you get boxed into, since we're like children of immigrants, you think about this, it's usually like the 3rd or the 4th generation that can bring some type of success, hopefully, to the family, depending on your circumstances. Some people don't have it like that. Some people have ended up with, family members who they lost or ended up in penitentiaries and things like that. So it's like the first generation is like usually the grandparents or the mom and dad. They were either they migrated over because they got petitioned, or they were in like what happened in Cambodia and Vietnam.
Oh yeah, they basically just had to like exit the country and flee, and also, they basically get nominated to just go to another country.
Right. So then now they're navigating this whole landscape where they can't even see people that look like them, talk like them, the food that they eat, and they have to figure out how to survive that climate while still putting food on the table for their kids. So now their kids, and I'm comparing this to my family, Chrissy's family, because we're third generation of this, is like now they're learning how to become Americanized immigrants in this community that still somewhat does not like them at all, right? And it's like, do I hang out with people who look like me, or do I hang out with the black people because that's who's in my neighborhood and that's who I actually really get along with? And then now here comes us, and it's like, okay, we can either be fuck ups and be privileged kids and not realize what we've been given from our parents. Because it's not until you get to this age where you realize all the things that they really sacrificed for, the things that they told you. And I feel like a lot of youth really take that for granted. And there's no easy recipe to be like, hey, this is how you should raise your kids. I don't have kids, so I can't tell you. But what I can say is, for somebody who I would say like didn't really understand life, you could say like not imposter syndrome, but like, what is it called when you don't really know where you fit in with your race?
I think, like an identity crisis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know if I was supposed to be black. I didn't know if I was supposed to be Filipino. And you have American Filipinos and you have like FOB Filipinos, respectfully. It's like, and I didn't understand that culture. Because then I'm also going to school with a bunch of Americanized people who have things that I want. And that's not how you should raise your kids, to want those things, right? And our parents who are immigrants, they didn't have the knowledge about credit, about if going to college was going to be a good thing for you, or believing in your kids. If they tell you you're an artist, why are you not supporting that idea? Why are you crushing it because you couldn't do what you love to do?
Yeah.
I would never do that when I have kids.
So, I know we've been friends for a bit, but I don't think I've ever asked you, like, how did you navigate through all that time? Because like I said, you were kind of like, out of like all my homies, you were the only one doing your own thing. As you were saying, like having somewhat of an identity crisis is like, am I black enough? Am I Filipino enough? Like, how did you navigate that mentally growing up?
I did my time. That sounds crazy, but like I served my time. And like thinking back, like if this version of Dontae could talk to Dontae when he was 15, 18 years old, who knows where my life would be at. But again, like it's the journey that God or the universe has put out there for you. And you really have to learn the lesson. But if you're an adult, fully capable, your brain is fully adapted and it's grown out, you should be aware of what the hell you're doing in life. Because I talk to a lot of guys and I keep my mouth closed, because the thing I notice when you get this old is like, I'm not even that old, but you know what I'm talking about. Like when you get...
We're pushing 30. We're pushing 30.
We're pushing 30. We're still very young. We're probably going to live until we're 200 years old with mechanical limbs with how technology's going.
Yeah, or, just get frozen in a chamber for an extra like 50 years. We'll be solid.
Exactly. We got so sidetracked. What the hell was I saying, Nico?
Oh, Jesus Christ. You kind of just had to go through the ranks, kind of just go through life to navigate, is what you were saying, basically, which is a very, very broad answer, but I'll take it. But we do get lucky though. Okay, maybe not lucky, but like, I know folks back home who just get caught up in like the wrong things.
I was grilling people our age. That's what I was doing.
That's were you? Yeah, I guess you're like low-key grilling.
I was about to get into it. Okay, I was just starting.
Okay, go ahead. May the grilling continue.
What I would say is a lot of people aren't self-aware to realize what the hell is going on in their lives, right? We all have the same 24 hours in a day. It's like people complain about like, why can't this happen to me? Back to what we were saying about social media and why this is very important is like, social media, you can look into people's lives and you can instantly change your morning and be like, man, how come this person got a new house? Man, why does this person's family look so good? How did they get these shoes? How do they keep getting all this success? Stop asking, why is it not happening for you? Say, how can it happen for me? Change up the wording. That's all you have to do. On repeat, though, it's not going to happen the first time you ask yourself that. But pen to paper, as a real man, as a real adult, whether you're a woman or a man, write on the paper, how can I make it happen for me? If you can reverse engineer, that's how you become self-aware. If you can reverse engineer everything that's going wrong with you, where your 24 hours in the day is going, it's not going to happen in the first week, might not happen even in the first year. But if you can answer these questions and start taking actionable steps towards achieving those goals, you can become that better version of yourself. So we're saying, like, we didn't grow up learning credit. Well, guess what? Go on YouTube and search it. I can't tell you how many people say, Dontae, man, how did you clone yourself like that in the video? Like, why are you waiting for me to drop the video? The free education is out there. But we've become so numb to say, let's go out to the club with our homies. Let's go to the bars. Easy. Let's go flip on the Xbox and become raw at building forts on Fortnite. When you can't even file your own taxes. Not for real, man. That's real stuff, though. Like, that's an embarrassing thing as an adult to live in this, to live literally. Our parents, I mean, they were navigating from typewriters onto computers, but for the most part, they had to go to the library to learn.
Yeah.
We can just instantly go on Safari and search up anything. So I implore everybody that's listening or watching to learn at least one thing.
Yeah.
Because the free education is out there.
Well, you know, I think it's kind of like a spoon-fed community that we've accustomed ourselves to. So, I mean, even if you think of like institutions, right, school and whatnot, like for the most part, our parents wanted us to go to school. I mean, hopefully your parents want you to go to school, right? But like when you're there, you are literally fed the information. You have like no other choice but to accept the information that we are given to you. And with that being said, like, I think that kind of dissolves curiosity in a sense, unless, again, if you're like a self-thinker and self-aware, like you're able to be like, maybe something about this isn't necessarily correct. So I feel like from the jump, society kind of spoon feeds us and we get so used to it. So the reason why, if I see a Dontae cloning video, the reason why I'm not looking up on YouTube, like, how do I clone myself in a video, is because now that I've realized that you've become the educator, I'm just going to wait for the educator to educate me.
Man, there's millions of educators out there on the internet. Let me tell you that. First and foremost, you can go on almost any social media platform, search up how to become a photographer, and it'll spit out so much information and free game for you.
Yeah.
Because like, it's like, look, you wanted to become a DJ, right? There's certain techniques. Would you have waited for somebody to teach you how to do a crab scratch, or did you just try to figure it out yourself?
Oh, no, man. We YouTube University all day, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, man.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, even if you like, you know how many people will try to look for Grand Theft Auto cheat codes? You're not going to wait for somebody to teach it to you. You're going to go out there and try to find it.
Facts, bro.
You're going to go Game Informer on the grocery store aisle, rip that page out, pocket it, and bring it home, tape it on the inside of your GTA game when you open it.
But that's what I'm saying, too. It's like, you know, I mean, if y'all don't realize by now, I'm a huge Pokemon fan. So it's like, back then when we wanted to play like the red version or the blue version, like we literally had to buy the booklet that came with it and understand if there is a secret here, I literally have to read through it. But nowadays, it's as simple as a YouTube video that will just like,
Whole
for the most
walkthrough.
part, yeah, it's a whole walkthrough. Like, hey, like, you don't have to read, you don't have to do anything. Literally just follow literally everything that
They'll
I'm doing
tell
right
you
now.
the original creator of Pokemon used to live in this cave. Something crazy that the book wouldn't have told you.
Yes. That's why, like, it's such a double-edged sword, because the educators can like create the shortcuts, but then I feel like it also prevents us as a society from really seeking out information and creating our own thoughts.
Does it really though? Because we all love winning, right? We all, everybody, what I've noticed is there's like certain patterns. Like when you, I keep going back to like when you go through life, right? Like when you get to this age, or maybe you don't notice you're 40 or 50, it's never too late for you, especially with, you got like the Swiss Army knife, which is social media and your phone on your hip at all times. So no matter what it is, it's like, just use that to your advantage, because doesn't everyone like winning? You go to Vegas and there's a lot of people who are addicted to gambling. Like these are the type of people who won't take the next step in their lives to try and change something. But there's hope, right? That you will win. There's hope that everyone likes to be a winner. So maybe as a society in our world, we've all gone through too many losses, especially in the community and the climate that we grew up in. People that we know in the climate that they grew up in could even be more severe. So when you go through that traumatic loss, it's almost like, where is the hope? Why would there be hope? But when you really think about it and it comes back to you, it's really the people around you. You really start acting like them. You really stop pushing yourself forward, because it becomes a vice. If like I said, Nico, bro, I need you at my party. I need you to be prepared. Here's the playlist for me. Okay. You're going to make sure you practice it, because I really need this to be on point. I got you. But then your homie hits you up every day. Nico, bro, let's hop on the sticks, bro. Let's play. Hey, man, I got to get this mix down. Nah, bro, come on, let's hop on the sticks. So it's like, if you keep letting these little distractions happen, you keep saying yes, man, to everybody. It's okay to turn people down. And I'm glad we're talking about this because, like, friendship is a big term because relationships, too, because I feel like on social media, anybody could be your friend. It's just a word, right? It could be your homie, your bro, your sis, whatever, your fam, you want to call them. But like, what is a true friend to you? What would you classify that?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. You know, because I think that idea of friendship has shifted so much over the years. Like, I mean, I guess initially it's just somebody who's simply just there for you. But, you know, then again, like you and I are from the Bay Area. We're both in LA right now. Like, it's hard to communicate with the friends that we grew up with. So, you know, they're there in spirit, but they're not like physically there, you know? So I guess, I mean, that's a great question. Long-term friendship, I think people who you've just shared memories with that, you know, in some cases you just can't let go of, which is a good or a bad thing depending on how you see it.
Because people like us, we work in the service industry. And I came up with this perspective. I was like, damn, man, it sucks. People are really like tools. People carry around toolboxes, right? Like you reach into your toolbox when you want to reach out to a friend that can provide this value for you.
Yeah, for sure.
Or if your mom, your cousins, whoever can provide some type of value for you. I don't want to be the worn down hammer that gets tossed out. I'm the multi-tool that you could never get rid of. But I started to learn my true value because I was like, yo, I got to stop saying yes to everybody because I'm splitting myself too thin. And if you really rock with me, you just got to understand that I can't be there for you in that way right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, I think we've been able to identify, like, you know, if we just want to like drink with the homies, okay, I'll dedicate like one day in the Bay. I mean, granted, I've done a little bit of work.
Exactly who's down to do it.
Yeah, like I know who's down to do it, and this is what I can supply for you because this is the small version of myself that I can supply to you, which will be, I guess, in a sense, like remembrant of like how we used to be, or like our friendship. It's like a symbol of our friendship, right? But you know, it's difficult whenever I go back home because it's like I have to split my time now. It's like, I don't know if you know, but it's like, you know, I have a niece and nephew now. My sister had 2 kids. So it's like, okay, how can I be the family man? How can I be the friend? And how can I still be the businessman all at the same time and split that up in a 24-hour duration? Like, these are all the questions that I ask myself. And honestly, it is fucking difficult to manage, you know?
Well, that's why I was asking you, like, what are your goals? And we kind of talked about it. You said you enjoy like impacting people through music.
Yeah.
But is that going to give you peace of mind? Yeah, but you have a certain way of living. Like you hold your standards. You see yourself like, this is where I want to be. I want to be able to help my family out.
Yeah.
I want to be able to live here and do this and that. And like everyone's constantly chasing that goal and that dream.
You know what's crazy is that I've always had this vision of owning a restaurant bar type of thing, right? And I've told my mom about this, and she was like, you know what's funny is that I've always wanted to create a bar. And I was like, what would you want to name the bar, Mom? She was like, I've always wanted to name it Nisa because it's part of your name, Nico, and part of your sister's name, Sabrina. I'm like, that's fucking dope. And so, you know, as a DJ, I've found myself working with Arena Nightlife Group, who literally opens up places and has DJs come in and people are dancing and whatnot. So I'm thinking to myself like, oh, so I've always wanted to own a bar, restaurant type thing, whatever. My mom has too. My sister, even though she's an LVN right now, like she is a phenomenal cook and she's expressed to me multiple times she kind of wants to do cooking full time. And I'm working with a company that literally opens up spots where DJs can come together and people come together and enjoy music. I'm like, I think now, but you know, that's a goal that always seemed like a long shot, but it wasn't until I went through these experiences and I've had conversations with my mom, my sister, the people that I work with, and even with myself, like, you know what, like, I think this goal really is achievable.
That's true.
You know, like and you know, granted that might be somebody's like Tuesday, just to like open up a restaurant or whatnot, but you know, coming again from like first or second generation, like Filipino American family, it's kind of like, we don't have this.
No.
And this is what I want. And especially now that we've understand what a pandemic could do, where like businesses can shut down and like, your boss can let go of you right away. Like the importance of owning something yourself is just that much more pivotal for your life.
Pivotal. That's why this thing got a pop filter. He said pivotal.
I could say pivotal and it's not gonna we pushing P, everybody. We are pushing P.
Oh shit.
But what are yours, man? Like, like I know at the end of the day you want to help people with your content, but like what do you see yourself doing through helping everybody?
Yeah. Impacting people and educating them. Like I never thought of myself as a teacher, but I think I never believed in timing. But man, what a time to be alive, because Web3, it's like you have the whole metaverse, cryptocurrency side of things. But now everybody cares about video content. Like I told Chrissy, if you knew me like 12 years ago, bro, if you knew me like 12 years ago, I would tell you straight up, look, content creators, brands are going to be paying them crazy amounts of money. And this is going to be the number one way of marketing is going to be. I wish I documented that. I'm probably sure I have that written down on a Twitter or something somewhere. But I called that for sure. And now look at it. All these brands who have these large marketing teams are letting go of people because they can't get it together. They can't figure it out because they're too old head. Like their ways of thinking are too old. And I've never thought that these bigger companies would be reaching out to me for help on social media, for consulting, for creating content. Wow. I mean, I always dreamed of it and I knew and I believed in it, but I just would have never thought that like, okay, here's the decision maker of the company and we're going to be having a conversation about creating content for social media. Great.
Yeah.
So taking that, what you asked me was like, where do I see myself educating people? We have a tool in our pocket that is going to be the only camera that people use for social media. DSLRs are going to still be around for the high quality content, commercial stuff, or the things that smartphones can't do. But the future of a smartphone is very bright.
Yeah.
I almost got myself there. I'll say 1,000%. I'll say 1,000%.
He was going to say 100%. And that is called irony, my friends. That is irony.
Yes, it is.
Oh, man, that's funny. Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. I think at the end of the day, like, I think what makes your content so encapsulating is that somebody can look at it and be like, wow, like, I could do that too. I think back then when we were shooting with the DSLRs we had or the phones that we had, like, we were looking at YouTube like, oh yeah, we can do something on YouTube or whatever. But it was like a long shot to feel like. We were trying
to emulate like Niga Higa or like people like that we looked up to.
Yeah.
Freddie Wong and the Wong Fu Brothers Productions.
Exactly.
It was like, wow, there's a dream of these guys were able to get millions of views on the internet, not doing any like, maybe it was a prank video, I don't know, but like just creating something. And it just felt so natural. Now, every day, you just got to wake up and put something out there. You have to be relevant because the content creator industry is only going to get bigger. The amount of companies that are in there, and it's insane because a lot of brands are just getting hip. I noticed this, that more brands care about YouTube. Why? Because the relationships there is different. How you can click on links and like interact with the content is totally different. The lifetime value of that YouTube video you're investing in can be broken down. Whereas something like TikTok or Instagram, brands are kind of struggling to navigate that area and figure out. Some it works for them if your company's built on e-commerce. And then for others, they're just throwing money in it. It's just not doing anything.
Yeah, I hear you. Because I think at the end of the day, the same way that content creators have to identify what YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the whole nine is for, I think like as a company or as a brand who is interested in like, hiring a content creator, you have to understand like, okay, is YouTube best for our brand? Is TikTok, Instagram best for our brand? Because Instagram Reels, TikTok, you might spike like 1 million something views, but how many people are actually like clicking on whatever it is?
You have to be omnipresent. It doesn't matter what you do. You have to have a strong foundation built on every social media platform, because whether you're a service company, you're in health, you're a lawyer, real estate, photographer, every single social media platform is important for search engine optimization. So if they search you up, your service, it should pop up on Google and it should show either one of those pages, Let
me ask you this. Do you have to post every single day?
No, you definitely don't have to post, because there's a strong connection between like quality content and just like being, was it quality versus quantity, right? The more content you put out, you could potentially grow faster. You might lose followers, but they might not be the right followers anyways. So you can grow more because you're reaching more, your content's in different places. Now, depending on the platform, I hear Gary Vee saying like, yo, post 4 pieces of content on TikTok. And I'm like, that's not happening, man. Not the way I work, it's not going to happen. Like, I don't do videos like that. But for some people, it does work. And in instances, if you figure out that it works for you, whatever's working on social media, keep attacking that and keep funneling. But don't build on platforms that can delete you. Build out a website, siphon from all of these platforms, and put the attention there. I met Gary Vaynerchuk. I knew the answer to the question. That's exactly what he told me. I said, thanks for telling me what I needed to know and just reaffirming it because it's true. I built a website for myself and I thought, damn, I got to have my portfolio together, my products, my homepage, my about me. If you go to my website right now, DontaeCatlett.com, it's just a landing page and a shop. And I just keep adding to it little by little. I'm working on my portfolio, but for the most part, a lot of my portfolio work can be found on Vimeo or on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. But now that I have a website, I can collect their emails, their text messages. I can offer value through there. They can access me however they want to through that website. And it's valuable because when brands say, well, hey, are you able to sell a product? I'm not going back to, the Roadcaster that I promoted. I'm going to show them my website sales and show them the ebook that I put together and be like, yeah, here's what they paid for it. Here's how long people were on my website for. And on top of that, I can provide my social media metrics because it's all about that value proposition.
A lot of shit we learned today, huh?
Absolutely.
A lot of shit we learned. What's Dontae's biggest secret?
No, we're not going to get into that.
What's Dontae's deepest, darkest secret?
What do you see here?
One day Dontae came to the... Me and Dontae had our church group on a Tuesday, and he brought a Little Caesars pizza. And as soon as he stepped out, I took one slice. He came back. He was like, "What the fuck happened to my pizza?"
Did I really do that?
No, this is just a very far off me reaching type of memory.
Gotcha. We definitely got Little Caesars every Tuesday.
But I do remember you were bringing the Little Caesars.
Yeah.
Dontae, man, thank you for hopping on the podcast, man. Very educational.
Thank you.
I hope that this was very educational for you to also do because, that's part of your mission statement and whatnot. So thank you, bro.
Hey, bro, at the end of the day, I'm here to support you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man, and I'm here to support everybody else who just wants to pick up a gem or two.
Nico reached out to me. He was like, yo, you want to hop on the podcast? I said, this is a perfect time. I'd love to, bro.
Let's get it, man.
It was all within the timing.
Where can everybody find you?
So you guys can find me anywhere on social media at Dontae Catlett. Go hit my website up, DontaeCatlett.com. Download my free Instagram Reels guidebook. It's basically an ebook that you can read through super quick, like 15 minutes, but there's gems in there. It lets you understand what a value proposition is and different types of value you can offer to people, as well as 10 types of content that you can create. And I'm not just talking about specific types of videos. It's more of the category, so you can take it however you want to with those categories.
Okay. That's what's up, man.
Yes, sir.
Nico Blitz podcast, Dontae Catlett, and we are out, everybody.
Yeah.